Well, here's another one for you guys. It's Sunday evening, about 7:10. Labor Day weekend. I don't know when this video will make it up. Working on my cousin's '04 Ford Focus. It's got some stuff done to it. Supposedly it was built by a shop out on the west coast and moved up to North Dakota, Fargo, North Dakota for a few years. And then it got handed to a few people, and then, excuse me, allergies are really killing me right now. Apologize again. So it got handed around to a few people, and I kind of think in that time it got a little mistreated, and it went to an auction. Not like a state auction or anything, like it was brought back from the bank or anything like that, not that I know of, but whoever had it brought it. It was on Craigslist, and my cousin bought it, and he drove it a little bit, and it's been giving him issues. So him and another buddy tore apart the car, thinking that the turbo was blown. And what I believe I've found is some bad valve stem seals and actually some bad rings, because there's a lot of oil seeping out of some of these cylinders, enough that the turbo is just covered in oil. So the plan tonight actually is to do leak down test and compression test. Probably just a leak down, because I can't do a compression myself. I really can't do a leak down myself either, but all my friends have got better stuff going on evidently, so they're not here. So I'll be trying to figure this out myself. And I think inevitably pulling the engine. Probably not tonight. Probably start on most of it tonight, end up doing it tomorrow or whenever time permits. But my cousin has opted not to sell this car, but instead keep it, and keep it for good, essentially, rather than bring it back to the auction and sell it to somebody where they might have issues. He's decided just to fix it up, get the work done that needs to be done, and keep it. And I'd pop the trunk, but I don't want to grab the keys and get them dirty. But it has a comped turbo in like an SLS or STS manifold. I'm sure you guys will get to see this all eventually. It is an SVT Focus hatchback. I don't know if they came any other way. I'm cool. I would own this car if I could, but I have no money whatsoever, and I currently don't have a job. So my job is just to work on this thing. So we'll get this going again when I'm back to actually working on it. Here are the tools you guys are going to need on an SVT Focus to do this test. Now, I bought this kit off of these aside and this aside. Now I bought this kit here off of Amazon. I think it was under $120. Might have just been $100. It's an OTC 5609 according to the tester itself. And if you have a Focus, this is what your spark plug is going to look like. This is just a test plug, because I thought I was actually going to have to haul this out and make my own adapter. This is the way a Focus spark plug seals. There's no crush washer or anything like that. It's just a taper fit. It's odd, and I don't really understand why a company would use it, but that's what they do. And as you can see, none of your adapters are that style. They're all O-ring, and actually I don't know if any of them are even the right thread size. I don't believe they are. But what I found works is you go to Napa and get a spark plug, I think spark plug non-fouler. And I don't know about that size, but this is the size you need. There's nothing on it, just go to Napa and look for them, or otherwise they're spark plug adapters. I believe it's just a non-fouler. That's what I found works on these heads because it's got that same taper. You can see where it's sealed because I've done this before in this head. I was rushed when I was doing it, so it's not correct. So anyway, if you go to Napa and you find that, what you're going to need is a 11/16 socket. That's what fits over top of this because it's a different size than a spark plug. Why they did that, I don't really know. Not a great design. And then the spark plug, if these are the same as the other ones, I'm not going to show the brand of this plug just because it's a 5/8. It's not very tight. A 16 millimeter actually fits better, but just for the sake of what I'm doing, I'm going to use a spark plug socket. This one actually doesn't have the rubber boot in it, so it's kind of worthless, but the idea is the same nonetheless. So what you're going to have to do is, sometimes it works just to put this adapter straight onto the leak down tester and then thread it in, but no matter what, this is going to come off when taking the hose out of the engine. So you can either put this in separately and then try to get that in there, or put it in together. Either way works. I've had success doing it with it on, so just do it that way. And of course you're going to need a 3/8 adapter, 3/8 wrench. What you guys are going to want to do now is get an impact wrench and some sockets, remove your 4 lug nuts, take your passenger wheel off, and this here is your crank pulley bolt, which you're going to use to turn the engine over. I will tell you what size socket that is later on in this video series, so make sure to stay tuned and watch for that and the rest of the fun that comes along with this Focus. Here and again, working on the Focus. It's been a few hours. Just going to note a few things. A little bit of oil there. A little bit of oil there. Not quite as much there. And not really much going on there either. Set these to the side. Take a look down these holes. You can see there's oil actually pooling around the plugs. You can see there as well. There's some oil pooling around the plugs. And again. So yeah. Definitely needs a valve cover gasket, but I think there's more issues in that. This is a very interesting head design. You can see this whole piece underneath is open. Very different. These should come pretty easily. I've already removed them before. I'm going to remove all the plugs just to make it easy on myself with the compression, so it can just run past the plugs. This is actually it's a lot easier working on any vehicle with a friend to help. And it's very nice to do compression tests and leak down tests with the valve, not the valve, the, what I'm saying, with the, I guess you could call it a valve, but with the throttle body wide open and usually the intake off. That way you can much more easily hear if air is leaking past your throttle body, so your intake valves. Just makes everything a lot more simple in my opinion. And of course, since this socket does not have the rubber insert, I'm going to have to go and get a something like a 3/8 rubber hose, and I'll just use that to pull the plugs out. I'll be right back with that. Got 2 lengths of hose just in case one doesn't work. But easy way to pull your plugs out if your tool is wrong. I'm told the best plugs to run in a Ford Focus, no matter stock, modified, turbocharged, whatever, is just the regular old plugs, factory Motorcraft plugs. These are AZFS 22Cs. Whether they're the right ones or not, I'm going to have to verify, but that's what I've been told. So I'll show you guys cylinder per cylinder what the plugs look like. I'll keep them in order. I can already tell you now there's a lot of oil on them. A lot of oil. It leads me to believe that when this engine was technically built, and there's a lot of good parts on the car that wouldn't lead me to believe that it's not been built. So it kind of makes me wonder why there's so much oil. I think that maybe when the person that was building this built this, or the shop, as I'm told, they did not use better not spark plugs. They didn't use better valve stem seals, like a Vinton. It's a Vinton. Some people pronounce it different. Just the valve stem seal material, Vinton, or however you like to pronounce it, is a lot stronger material. It burns at a lot higher, or breaks down at a higher temperature, whereas factory rubber or whatever they use, it's not the case, not as great. But going from timing side to the transmission side, plug 1 looks half decent. My phone's not going to focus, is it? But oily plug nonetheless. Cylinder 2, a little bit of white at the tip on this side, and oil into the threads, whereas cylinder 1 didn't have. It had light oil, not as much as cylinder 2. This here, cylinder 3, very interesting gap. I don't know what that's about, but oil into the threads, not a whole lot, still a lot more than you'd want. This one here is a little dry. That's the 4th cylinder, and again, oil on the threads, very oily. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise the car, or the lift I should say, with the car on it, and get down to the crank bolt and turn the engine over and find top dead center on any of these cylinders. I know I can put the timing pin in, but I have not ventured that far yet, and I can see where it goes. I'm just not to that point yet, and I'm just going to pretty much wing it, see where I can get. So what I'm going to do now is I've got the air compressor going, or it's been going for a few hours. I've got more than enough pressure. I'm going to grab my leak down tester, and I'm going to attempt to do a leak down on this thing. Here I found a very, very long screwdriver, and that's going to be my way of determining top dead center. I do have a tool that is a spring-loaded indicator. You actually put a dial indicator onto it with a magnetic base, and you measure for top dead center, but I don't have that with me, and I'm just going to do this. It'll work perfectly fine for what I'm doing. So with that being said, I'm going to come over here and grab my socket set. Tell you guys what size this is. I'm going to go for a 17. So it is not a 17. It's probably actually going to be an 18. No. Wait, yeah, 18. I was going to say 19, but somehow 18 came out. So yeah, it's an 18 millimeter on the crank bolt. And that's what you want. So we're going to grab our extension. And again, this nice extended ratchet really helps. And we'll come back to you when we're on that. Hey there guys, thanks for watching. If you'd comment and rate, that would be awesome. Tell me what you liked, what you didn't like in the comment section below. If you did like this, please feel free to subscribe, because there's plenty more videos where this came from, and a lot more DSM stuff, as well as some Cummins stuff to come. Thanks again guys, take it easy.